acid is 90 degrees centigrade or even higher. But in fact, organisms do exist in that water, and you can measure, take samples of water from hot springs, and this particular one is in Yellowstone National Park called Grand Prismatic Hot Springs in the United States. And not only is there life right in the middle of that hot spring, but all of these colors that you see surrounding the hot spring are also the result of life. So places that we really thought were not going to be suitable to sustain life turned out to be quite suitable, and the key to it was the tremendous diversity of life. And this was all really discovered in the 1960s, 70s, and 80s. And so by the mid-1990s, much of this picture was understood. The second area of science that was maturing by the mid-1990s was our understanding of the diversity of other environments on other bodies in this solar system. We were beginning to really understand the history of Mars and to understand how important water has been in the history of Mars. And we have since made much more progress on that with the Mars exploration rovers, Spirit and Opportunity, which are traveling, well, one of them is still traveling around Mars, but they were both very successful missions to Mars, which told us that the minerals on Mars have been altered by liquid water, and there has been liquid water present on the surface of Mars over extended periods of time. And it is even possible that there is liquid water close to the surface today. There is certainly solid water on Mars in the form of ice at the pole caps and underneath the surface of Mars, and we have seen that with space missions. In the mid-1990s, we were also beginning to learn about the moons of Jupiter from the Galileo mission, which arrived at Jupiter in late 1995. And one of the moons we learned about is a moon called Europa, which has a frozen ice surface, and you see a picture of that frozen ice surface right there. But underneath that frozen ice surface is a liquid water ocean that is approximately 100 kilometers deep. So one could imagine on the floor of that ocean on Europa, you might have potentially an environment similar to the environment we have on the floor of Earth's oceans, and we see life there. So potentially, Europa could also be a habitable environment, even though the surface is frozen and it has absolutely no atmosphere. And since then, particularly through the Cassini mission to Saturn, we have learned about two moons of Saturn, Enceladus and Titan. And on Enceladus, we see jets of water and organic compounds and salts coming out of the South Pole. And those jets tell us that